Yeah, thanks everybody for being here, and we're just really excited to get the season kicked off. The process has really began for us clear back in June when we started summer access workouts with this particular team, but official court practice starting and being able to have 20 hours a week with our players now, we're really excited for that. And we had our first couple practices were camp defense, so no offensive drills at all. And one of my newbies said, "Coach, you didn't tell me about camp defense when before we signed that letter of intent." And I said that was absolutely on purpose. But they made it through those first few practices of camp defense, and hopefully this week we'll really be able to advance on both sides of the ball. And just excited to get going with 45% of our roster being new this season. There's going to be some new faces, and we'll have to rely pretty heavily on some of our new players, but we feel really confidently that they're talented and working hard, and we'll be able to make that transition pretty smoothly.
What was the emphasis or the reason behind that defense? Did you always do, or is something you thought you needed more work on? Or?
Yeah, I really feel like with this particular team, and I think a big part of that is just with the graduation of Jasmine Sincor, who's been really a defensive stopper for us for a couple of seasons, and Janae Morton and Emily Wood just being in the program, and being very good defensive players for us. We feel like that's going to be something that we're going to have to pick up very quickly, and we're going to have to be fantastic at team defense without having kind of just that one person that we feel like we can really lean on heavily to put on the other team's top scorer and regardless of position, like we were able to do with Jasmine. So it's a point of emphasis. We feel like something that has really been a thorn in our side or kind of just kept us uncomfortable all off season is the way we got out rebounded in the NCAA tournament. And when we went back and really evaluated that, we felt like defensive positioning was a huge reason why we gave up so many offensive rebounds in that game. And so that's something that we've been very focused on and emphasizing pretty heavily this off season and these first few weeks of practice.
How much does Ashton and Kayla in the program help you, and even Leah, in terms of rebounding? How much are they going to help immediately just from an athletic and size standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I think that those young ladies, Ashton Verbeek was, if you look at the Nike EYBL program that she played in, AAU, and she led the nation in rebounding, defensive rebounding, and I think that both of those young ladies can go out of area, Kayla and Ashton, and get rebounds and put that as an emphasis. But and Leah, particularly offensively, just has kind of a nose for the ball. I think that we've had a lot better pursuit of offensive rebounds and players going out of their area to get rebounds. But now we just have to kind of key in with those young kids on the discipline that it takes to be in the right position, because that's kind of the biggest adjustment at this level.
How quickly have those four freshmen, which were a top 20 class, how quickly they pick things up? And they committed to you when you guys were not very good. So they believed in something even before you guys went to the NCAA tournament. So how valuable has it been to have them in, and how quickly are they picking?
Yeah, I mean, they are doing a fantastic job. They're all very high IQ players, so that helps. They have picked things up extremely quickly, which allows us to advance. And part of that is just a testament. We have some pretty good upperclassmen that have been doing a fantastic job with the leadership of those four freshmen. I think that's really going to help. I mean, we talked in the very first team meeting when they arrived on campus about how there was not going to be any luxury to kind of get used to things. It's now or never, it's sink or swim, and we're going to have to depend on every one of those freshmen to contribute. So, we're excited with the progress they're making, and I think none of it would be happening without strong leadership from the upperclassmen.
Since you have so much youth, you are trying to work through things on the defensive side of the ball. How much does it help having Kate Kane in the center to just kind of clean up mistakes?
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely helpful, and not only just do we have Kate Kane in the middle, we have a Kate Kane that's been working her tail off all off season. She's gained a lot of strength, she's gained a lot of confidence, and now she's way more vocal on the court. She's talking, she's letting her teammates know that, hey, I'm back here and I can clean some mistakes up. It gives them a little bit more confidence to get out and put some pressure on the ball and be freed up to be a little bit more aggressive defensively. And so I think, eventually, as we continue to work with her and she gains just more and more confidence, and I think that that's going to really help the rest of our team and our players defensively.
Where do you want to see her take that next step this season? Is it in leadership?
Yeah, I mean, I think a part of it is just that leadership. A part of it is confidence. We've been talking to Kate a lot about just body language and positive body language and being able to sustain. I think, consistency is what she really wants to strive for. And there were, some games where she had extremely big games last year, and then some games where she felt like, maybe she didn't show up quite as much, or she got out physicaled, and she wants to try to eliminate those games and be more consistent for our team. I feel like right now we've kind of had a couple of players that have really started to really step up in that area. Just Maddie Simon, because of the fact that she's our only 4-year senior and she's been here for the longest, and she has worked really, really hard. She's been through some downs and some ups and some downs and some ups, and I think that because of that, she's gained experience, and she's leaning on that experience to really be a great leader. I think Hannah Whitish, just with the successes that she's been able to have, has shown great leadership for us so far. And then to be quite honest, our probably most natural leader is Christian Hudson, and that she's a graduate transfer who comes in here. It's her first year at Nebraska, but she's played a lot of minutes in of college basketball, and she naturally has incredible leadership skills and does a great job of just communicating on the floor and off the floor, and we're excited to be able to add that piece to the mix.
You go from 8 wins 2 years ago to 21 last year. Just what's your general thought on just sustaining the motion you guys come through with?
Yeah, I mean, we feel like what we want to do now is just we're not trying to be one-hit wonders. We're not trying to do a quick fix. We never set out for that when we came here, and maybe some things turned around a little bit faster than we expected 1 year ago. But for us, it's finding small ways to continue to raise the bar and the expectations for our program. And this year we probably didn't do ourselves any favors with our non-conference schedule, and the fact that the Big Ten has gone from 16 to 18 conference games for us this year, and then our non-conference schedule is pretty demanding, and so because of that, it's going to be a lot tougher to see those small gains and find the small ways that we're looking to raise the bar for our program. But we're just continuing to approach it like that, and the wins will take care of itself.
You guys were really good on the road last year. How do you carry that over to another season?
That's a really good question. If we could figure out a way to kind of bottle that up, that would be great. But I do think that the fact that 45% of our roster is new, but 55% of them were here, and they were a part of that, and they knew what they had to do and the approach that they had to take to have that mentality on the road or in neutral site games. And we're going to lean on them pretty heavily to kind of keep that mentality to stay focused, whether we're home or on the road.
Amy, how does the Big Ten overall look?
Yeah, I mean, the Big Ten, it just feels like every time I feel like, hey, we're gonna get a little bit better, then everybody else seems to do the same. So it's gonna be a fantastic league from top to bottom. Once again, I think that's the biggest strides is when you look at the top teams, the Marylands that everybody seems to be reloading at the top, but some of the teams that maybe finished in the bottom 4 or so of our league, they've all found ways to really raise their level of play. So we feel like from top to bottom, the league will be the strongest since I've been here.
Amy, with the returning players you have and just the fact that you guys had so much success last year, have you been able to coach in a different way preseason this year compared to the previous couple of years for you?
Well, I think that it's allowed for me to be able to, the fact that we have a very highly intelligent group and they pick things up very quickly has allowed for us as a coaching staff to be able to move forward a little quicker than we've been able to do in previous seasons. Also, the fact that, this is the third time that kids like Hannah Whitish and Nicaea Liley and Maddie Simon have gone through some of the things with our system, and so they're a lot more comfortable with things, and those that coupled with a freshman class and a graduate transfer who really are able to adjust quickly has allowed us to progress maybe a little bit faster, which is a positive since we're opening this year with Drake, who hasn't lost a conference game in 40-something tries and has everybody back from their team from a year ago. So we're going to be tested early and often, and so that's a positive with how well they're able to advance.